fat lard. Come get some dinner.
Today we will be discussing when did turfgrass begin in the United States. We've already discussed this a little bit in class, and we've already discussed turfgrass in Europe. But how did it begin in the United States? We'll dive deeper in right now. We will begin with the early settlers and immigrants that began to settle in the New World. Many of the early settlers brought over their lawn-related culture with them. They brought seed to establish what they had already known and began to build lawns. Others brought seed on accident that was stuck on their clothes and other belongings. Those who had lawns in New England were also the wealthy, just like it had been in Europe. The wealthy even began to use turf for lawn bowling and golf. As the settlers moved south, they became less focused on lawns and rather on use of turf, such as grazing for livestock or growing cottage gardens where they grew edible plants and medicinal plants. It is also suggested that bermuda grass was introduced in the United States when it was contaminated hay from slave ships was being spread around the South. As it began to thrive in the South, it became more popular and farmers began to spread it more into new areas. Kentucky bluegrass was introduced by French missionaries and it began to thrive in the Midwest. It began to spread via the waterways. As manifest destiny began, many settlers took turf grasses with them for multiple purposes. But many of the turf grasses that thrived in New England and the early South struggled to survive in their new home in the West. Many Mediterranean grasses were shipped in and began to dominate the western seaboard. As the West settlers developed more cultivars that their livestock thrived on, they began to taking out the native grasses and began to grow even new turf grasses and more cultivars. For the normal settlers, though, it was not until the development of mowing machines that they began to care about turf and having their own lawns. This is just a small portion of turfgrass establishment in the U.S. Hopefully this will give you a little bit of history and hopefully will guide you in your new research towards turfgrass history in the U.S.